Welcome to Banana Bread Trades. Here we talk about trading futures. Shit post on Discord, post dank memes, and most importantly, eat banana bread and make money.
Welcome everyone to Banana Bread Trades. My name is Goose, and welcome to another episode of today's recap and tomorrow's trade plan, where we talk about today's trades as well as make a trade plan for tomorrow. So let's hop right into it with the trades that we took today. Yesterday we made a trade plan and we talked about it a lot, that there was one major spot we wanted to long if given the opportunity, and that was Wednesday's unfilled POC, which was right here at 53.27 on ES. And we knew that we wanted to long that, and we talked about other statistical levels that you have to play when chugging all-time highs because you don't have any structure to play. Those untested POCs from the prior day, those are really the only previous structure that we have to play with. And that was our trade plan for today. We wanted to long that untested POC. And we didn't get that trade on ES. We actually took it on NQ, but right here on ES, you can see that we front ran it by just a few ticks. And if you know me, I like to long when my level is tested, as in wicked, and then I will long after the level is reclaimed. Same thing with shorts. I will short after a short fails to reclaim a level. So I wanted to see this level wicked, and then I would buy after buyers, or after sellers failed to sell below my level, showing, the sign of strength. We didn't do that. We front ran it by a few ticks. And if you were watching, it front ran it by a few ticks and then rocket shipped up. There was absolutely no way I was going to be able to enter with a known amount of leverage because I wouldn't have known where my stop was because we didn't wick my level. So I didn't get a trade on ES. And I was kind of just hung out to dry, which was sad because it rocket shipped 20 points in, about an hour. So no trade on ES for me today, which was sad. We ended up coming down later in the afternoon, but I was actually short on this retest later in the afternoon. And I'll say why. And I was short on NQ as well. So just no trades today on ES. On NQ, however, we wicked that previous day POC first thing at market open. Wicked it right there, was also our opening range. So I felt really confident about this long after they wicked it. Went to the bottom of the previous day high volume node here. Failed to sell below. Buyers reclaimed with strength. And then I got long. And I took a little bit of profit here at the 709 level. This was our previous all-time high. Took a little bit of profit there, and then we ended up coming back and retesting opening range. A lot of buyers stepped in. I actually added to my long, and then we scaled out again, taking profit at the overnight POC, which was up here, up around 18,720. I took another contract off at overnight highs, took another one off up here, and then I had a couple runners on. However, those runners ended up coming back break even because we failed to trend higher as we're chugging all-time highs. You don't exactly know how high we're going to go on a day. That's morely just based off of price actions and, whenever buyers decide to give up. So I'm okay with those runners getting break even because we got our core position off along the way. Our trade was paid for and our day was going to be green no matter what. And I did have a couple questions on what I meant about taking profit on core. And what does that mean? Well, we'll just use an example here on NQ. So let's say I longed 10 contracts on NQ off of our level here. I would take profit on my core at my first level of resistance that was a reasonable amount of points away, right? I'm not going to take my core off at 5 points or 4 points. That doesn't make sense risk reward wise. I will take my profit off usually for me around 20 to 25 points on my core position, and that can be anywhere from 5 to 7 contracts. And then I will leave a few runners for trailing all the way up to whatever our target was, because as you guys know, My targets that I'm aiming for are usually, on NQ anywhere from 100 to 200 points away, and then on ES anywhere from 20 to 40 points away on ES. And I'm running those off of our daily average moves, which for NQ is anywhere from 240 to 270 points as an average daily range. And for ES, it really depends. Like a couple weeks ago, we were having average daily ranges of 40 points, but in summer market trading, you can have daily ranges of all the way down to 10 points. So how I'm taking off my runners really varies depending on the volatility of the market, especially in ES. With NQ, 100 to 200 points, I mean, we're holding runners to about that much. So today, like I said, we scaled out along the way at some of these really obvious levels of resistance, and then we held some runners in case it wanted to run today. It didn't want to run today. Our runners ended up getting break even, but our trade was paid for and we had a nice green day based on our core position. Came down, got our break even, but the thing is here, we failed to find buyers above this consolidation area here around 18,720. We tried multiple times to buy up, came down, retested, and when we broke through right here, if you were watching, this sell was absolutely aggressive. This was what I relate to as a profit-taking sell, where the bid completely clears. And we sold right back into opening range and, that previous POC very aggressively. It didn't look like we were going to reclaim. I took the break even on my runners, and then I actually flipped short. And that's because I thought opening range was going to break and that POC wasn't going to hold and wasn't going to reclaim, and that we were going to have a violent sell-off to at least this level down here at 18,954 or 594. This was the bottom of the bull zone on QQQ. When you convert it to NQ, I have a whole different video on that. But that was the bottom of our bull zone as far as options goes, using rocket scooter, gamma levels, whatever you want to use. That's where that bottom of the buying as far as option goes was. So I thought we would at least get a pullback to there, and if that broke, we could have a major liquidation move all the way down and retrace the entirety of the CPI release. However, I wasn't necessarily that bearish given the news. I didn't think that would happen today, but with the aggression of this sell, I thought we would get at least a pretty nasty attempt at a sell. And I was incorrect in that thinking. We're actually, as far as our plan goes, I was fading my plan as well, just because the action at the time told me differently. But we tried to sell. Sellers got stuffed pretty aggressively, and buyers bought up. I actually almost got stopped. Had we reclaimed previous all-time high here at 18,709, had we actually bought up above that, I would have gotten stopped. However, we could not buy above that. Sellers kicked in again, and they kicked in pretty aggressively, but this time I waited for opening range to actually break. We break opening range, we start selling hard. I add to my short, making my average a little worse, but I was like, okay, if they sell it hard here and they instantly flush, this is going to be a really big trade. But they did not. They bought right back up pretty aggressively. I killed the trade, basically break even, sorry. And that was it for the day. I was a little bit frustrated with myself because my first entry was honestly kind of a FOMO entry. I wasn't really proud of myself for that one. The second entry was much more appropriate. So yeah, I was just definitely really early on my first entry. I noticed I obviously wasn't seeing stuff clearly, so I just stepped away and I was done for the day. We ended up selling again pretty late in the afternoon into close. But like I said, I was completely away from charts at this time. So that was my day. I'll show my executions here. As you guys know, I post every day in daily review in our Discord. Lots of other people do too, posting their full charts, the trades, the execution. Lots of people have their own threads and their trading journals in here where they're posting their days and their progress and their journey. But I posted mine here in daily review, and this was the trade I took. As you guys can see, we wick that previous day POC. I get long. I start to scale out. We pull back. I add to my long, scaling out along the way at, the overnight POC, previous high, and then we end up selling down taking break evens on my runners. And then I ended up shorting because, like I said, we lost previous day POC. It was selling pretty hard. I thought we were going to break. We did not break. I took some drawdown here. Not a terrible amount of drawdown for, you guys know I take quite a bit of drawdown points wise, but I'm very, very light relative to account size. So we're fine here. I'm targeting hundreds of points. So my risk reward makes sense. Don't trade more than your account can handle, right? I'm within my limits, so I'm okay. If it doesn't fit your limits, don't do it. But took some heat here. Then we got the sell move down. We broke below opening range pretty aggressively. I add to my short and I was like, okay, if we break aggressively here, this is going to be a great trade. If we buy up, I will have to kill immediately for break even. And that's exactly what happened. Buyers kicked in again. I kill my trade, break even, and then I'm just done for the day because at this point, I'm just not seeing it clearly and I don't want to risk this really great day that I've had. And that was the right choice because we bought up again. We did sell later in the day, but that was all the way into close and I don't like playing that late. So that was our day. Like I said, the first trade we took this morning, I was very happy with, very proud with. We took a great trade. Second trade, a little FOMO-y. I'm prone to FOMO too sometimes, but luckily, I stayed light. I knew that this wasn't an A+ setup. And really, because it was an A+ setup, I shouldn't have taken it to begin with. But the potential for this trade, if it had actually gone and done what I thought it was going to do, was going to really pay off. So I really wasn't too, I guess, bummed with the fact of it, because in the moment, I really, really liked that trade. So that's my day for today. Let's go ahead and look at what we're going to do for tomorrow. And things are a little bit different now because we closed below the previous day POC. So now we kind of end that uptrend vibe that we've had going on. We haven't broken the previous day low. So that's one thing to keep in mind. But we did close below the previous day POC. Now, if we can reclaim today's POC, get above it, reclaim, then uptrend is back on. But until that happens, I'm a little weary. This profit taking up here, failure to find buyers above the balance, it is a little suspicious. So I think what I'm going to do is wait and see what the overnight session brings. I mean, if we look up here, we've left a lot of pretty weak volume all the way down. And another thing that is also important that, we should talk about is I did start a new swing profile. I'll have to reload my page here. Excuse me just a second. It's going to load now. Maybe. There we go. I did start a new swing profile, and I'll talk about for ES as well. But now that we've made new all-time highs from the bottom of this low, this is our new swing. So I'm no longer watching the bearish swing profile that we had before. We are now on our new swing, so we start a new swing profile. So we have a lot of volume spikes here to really clean up. So all the way down to 18,342. I mean, basically the retracement all the way down to the CPI release. That is a completely reasonable pullback for this, bull trend that we're on. Now, this doesn't necessarily have to happen, but I'm just being very aware that that is the potential for, our pullback here. So overnight, I'm definitely not looking for any longs. And I'm going to wait and see what the morning brings. Like I said, if we can hold this level here of 18,600, right? If we hold this level overnight and we reclaim back above today's POC, then the uptrend is still on and we're still looking for longs. Below this POC, I don't necessarily know that I'm looking for shorts, but I know that I'm being very, very cautious on longs, knowing that the risk for longs is all the way down to 18,307. That is the maximum drawdown we would look for taking a long at that unfilled POC. I don't know if we would wick that much further below the CPI release, which was up here at 18,412. But I mean, there's a lot of potential for, you know, some pullback. This was a huge uptrend move. So some pullback, some relief on this massive rally that we had is definitely understandable, or we could just range really hard tomorrow. So I'm not really too geared up in either direction. So let's look at ES as well. Same thing on ES. We have a big, you know, a big gap here back to the CPI release, which is at 52.75. So, I mean, if you look right here at this volume gap that we have as well on the new swing profile that we started at the bottom of this move, I mean, I could see a pullback down to 52.85. And if that could hold, then that's pretty bullish. You know, we leave these singles and these low volume things in moments of strength. And if those low volume areas can hold, that's pretty bullish. But I'm just aware that, you know, we could pull back to there, and that is a reasonable area to pull back to in, you know, this bull market trend. So like I said, I'm just very cautious on longs until this POC here at 53.33 can reclaim. Above that, then okay, we're still chugging along. We're still pretty bullish, but I'll probably just wait and see tomorrow, and we'll let the market build a little more structure before we really find one of these longer trades, just because we really just don't have anything to go off of here, and just blindly buying the highs is a little dangerous. Now, like I said, we are at all-time highs. We're at all-time highs for a reason, but that doesn't just mean we blindly buy the top. So, like I said, tomorrow we'll just be playing some of our statistical things like initial balance, opening range, our overnight high, overnight low levels, but really not marrying to any bias or, you know, trade ideas, taking our stops if we get them, and really, like I said, just playing that raw price action and our statistical levels. Because as far as structure goes, we just don't have anything to the upside to play off of as far as targets. And then to the downside, we got quite a bit of room to the downside to pull back. So Friday, it's going to be Friday. We're going to preserve capital. We're not going to be too crazy, but also, you know, we're going to be safe as well. So let's not get liquidated tomorrow. Let's be cautious. And yeah, I'll see you guys Sunday. We'll do our Friday recap and, you know, our forecast for Monday on Sunday. So I'll see you guys then. Have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe tomorrow. And yeah, stay classy, San Diego.
Oven, immediately cover it in tin foil and leave set at room temperature overnight. The tin foil locks in the moisture so that when you cut into it, the next day you have super moist and delicious bread. And that's how you make the world's